Okay, here we go. It's Thursday. Another one page English practice on Thursday. Switch off all the noises. Fan off. It's getting cold here. Computer off. And let's go for it. So it's this page here. It's focused. Oh. Yeah, alright, okay. Oh, a bit further up. Good. Alright, let's go. Acquittal. Acquittal is a formal declaration in a court of law that someone who has been accused of a crime is innocent. The acquittal of 6 police officers charged with beating a suspect. The jury voted 8-4 in favor of acquittal. Acquittal. Acre. An acre is an area of land measuring 4,840 square yards or 4,047 square meters. The property is set in 2 acres of land. Acreage. Acreage is a large area of farmland. He has sown coffee on part of his acreage of farmland. Acreage. Enormous acreage of soya beans are grown in the United States. Acrid. An acrid smell or taste is strong and sharp and usually unpleasant. The room filled with an acrid smell of tobacco. Acrimonious. Acrimonious words are quarrels, or quarrels are bitter and angry. They are followed an acrimonious debate, bitter and angry quarrel. Acrimonious, bitter and angry, acrimonious. Our relationship ended acrimoniously. Our relationship ended acrimoniously. Acrimony. Acrimony is bitter and angry words or quarrels. The council's first meeting ended in acrimony. Acrobat. An acrobat is an entertainer who performs difficult physical acts such as jumping and balancing, especially in a circus. Acrobatic. An acrobatic movement is display involves difficult physical acts such as jumping and balancing, especially in a circus. Acrobatics are acrobatic movements. Acronym. An acronym is a word composed of the first letters of the words in a phrase, especially when this is used as a name. An example of an acronym is NATO, which is made up of the first letters of North Atlantic Treaty Organization. Across. In addition to the uses shown below, across is used in phrasal verbs such as come across, get across, and put across. So across. Someone or something goes across a place or a boundary. They go from one side of it to the other. She walked across the floor and lay down on the bed. He watched Carl run across the street to Tommy. An expedition across Africa. Across is also an adverb. Richard stood up and walked across to the window. If something is situated or stretched across something else, it is situated or stretched from the side of it to the other. The floating bridge across Lake Washington in Seattle. He scrawled in his name across the bill. Cross is also an adverb. Trim toenails straight across using nail clippers. If something is lying across an object or place, it is resting on it and partly covering it. She found her clothes lying across the chair. the wind push his hair across his face. Something that is across something, such as a street, river, or area, is on the other side of it. Anyone from the houses across the road could see him. When I saw you cross the room, I knew I'd met you before. Across is also an adverb. They parked across from the Castro Theatre. If you look across at the place, person or thing, you look towards it. He glanced across at his sleeping wife. Breathtaking views across to the hills. Preposition. You use across to say that a particular expression is shown on someone's face. An enormous grin spread across his face. If someone hits you across the face or head, they hit you on that part. Graham hit him across the face with the gun. When something happens across a place or organization, it happens equally everywhere within it. The film opens across America in December. When something happens across a political, religious or social barrier, it involves people in different groups, parties competing across the political spectrum. Across the board. See board. Across is used in measurements to show the width of something. This hand-decorated place measures 30 centimeters across. Acrylic. Acrylic material is artificial and is manufactured by a chemical process. Act. When you act, you do something for a particular purpose. The deaths occurred when police acted to stop widespread looting and vandalism. I do not doubt that the bank acted properly. If you act on advice or information, you do what has been advised or suggested. A patient will usually listen to the doctor's advice and act on it. If someone acts in a particular way, they behave in that way. A gang of youths who were acting suspiciously. He acted as if he hadn't heard any of it. Open wounds act like a magnet to flies. If someone or something acts as a particular thing, they have that role or function. He acted as the ship's surgeon. If someone acts in a particular way, they pretend to be something that they are not. Chris acted astonished as he examined the note. Kenworthy had tried not to act the policeman. When professionals such as lawyers act for you or act on your behalf, they are employed by you to deal with a particular matter. Lawyers acting for the families of the victims. Because we traveled so much, Sam and I asked a broker to act on our behalf. If a force or substance acts on someone or something, it has a certain effect on them. The drug acts very fast on the central nervous system. If you act a part in a play or film, you have a part in it. She confessed to her parents her desire to act. She acted in her first film when she was 13 years old. An act is a single thing that someone does. Language interpretation is the whole point of the act of reading. If you say that someone's behavior is an act, you mean that it does not express their real feelings. His anger was real. It wasn't an act. An act is law passed by the government. An act of parliament. An act in a play, opera, or ballet is one of the main parts into which it is divided. Act 2 contained one of the funniest scenes I have ever witnessed. An act in a show is a short performance which is one of several in the show. See, numerous bands are playing as well as comedy acts. If you catch someone in the act, you discover them doing something wrong or committing a crime. The men were caught in the act of digging up buried explosives. If someone who has been behaving badly cleans up their act, they start to behave in a more acceptable or responsible way. It's informal. The nation's advertisers need to clean up their act. If you get in on the act, you take part in or take advantage of something that was started by someone else. Unsurprisingly, other firms are keen to get in on the act. You say that someone was in the act of doing something to indicate that they were doing when they were seen or interrupted. Well, okay. You say that someone was in the act of doing something to indicate that they were doing when they were seen or interrupted. Ken was in the act of paying his bill when Neil came up behind him. If you get your act together, you organize your life or your affairs so that you are able to achieve what you want, or to deal with something effectively. The government should get its act together. Act out. If you act out an event which has happened, you copy the actions which took place and make them into a play. I used to come home and act out the movie for the kids. Act up. If something is acting up, it is not working properly. She was messing with the coffee pot, which was acting up again. Usually countable. If something is acting up, it is not working properly. She was messing with the coffee pot, which was acting up again. If a child is acting up, they are behaving badly. Acting is the activity or profession or performing in place of films. She pursued an acting career after 4 years of modeling. You use acting before the title of a job to indicate that someone is doing the job temporarily. The new acting president. Action. Action is doing something for a particular purpose. The government is taking emergency action to deal with the housing crisis. And action is something that you do. Well, I'm not gonna read the rest. Alright, you're gonna finish this word tomorrow. Good. So I'm doing this to practice my pronunciation and vocabulary. That's in case you happen to stumble up on this video and wonder what the heck you just watched. Cool. Thanks for watching if you did.